Hey boys and girls, this book is called The Moon by Grace Hansen. And I chose this book because a good friend of mine, his name is Desmond, does not believe that the moon is made out of cheese. And I feel like for my whole life, everybody has been telling me the moon is made out of cheese. And he said the moon is made out of rocks and sand and dirt and space dust. And I'm like, bro, it's totally made out of cheese. So let's read this book. This is a nonfiction book about the moon, and it's going to tell us what's really going on with the moon. What is it really made out of? The Moon by Grace Hansen. We're going to prove Desmond wrong. The Moon by Grace Hansen. Okay, so this is the table of contents. Table of contents is an important feature in a nonfiction text. The table of contents tells you what chapters and what subjects are covered in the book and what pages they start on. The moon was made. The moon is around 4.53 billion years old. It is just a little bit younger than the Earth. Wow, they had cheese that long ago? Scientists are not certain how the moon came to be. Many believe that long ago, a small planet hit Earth. Pieces of that planet and Earth broke off on impact. Wow, that's a cool picture. The pieces began orbiting Earth, then gravity pulled the pieces together to form the moon. Interesting. So they're saying that one theory is a small planet hit the Earth and the planet broke apart and chunks of the Earth broke out and they orbited the Earth and formed together to make the moon. So the moon actually might be made of parts of the Earth. The moon is the second brightest body in our sky. Unlike the sun, the moon does not make its own light. It shines by reflecting the sun's light. So you can see here's the sun making light. It's reflecting over the ocean. And over here is the light of the sun reflecting on the moon. And part of the moon is hidden because that's the Earth's shadow that's blocking the sunlight. Or that may be the part of the Earth that's facing into space because the sun's on this side. It's shining this way towards the moon. Moon changes. The moon looks different every day. This is because Earth spins while it orbits the sun. At the same time, the moon is orbiting the Earth. All of this movement is constant. The moon takes about 1 month to fully orbit Earth. The new moon is the start of a new orbit. At this point, the moon is between the Earth and the sun. Right here. So there's not a lot of the moon that we can see when it's a brand new moon. The moon is dark when it is between the Earth and sun. This is because the sun's light is hitting the side of the moon we cannot see. Around 2 weeks later, the moon is bright and full. Now the Earth is positioned between the moon and the sun. The sun's light is shining on the side of the moon we can see. Craters. The moon is big and beautiful. It is also a giant rock with lots of imperfections. Wait a minute. It is also a giant rock. Desmond, you might be right. With lots of imperfections, comets and large rocks hit the moon long ago to make craters. The craters are easy to spot. So the moon is made out of rock and not cheese. I thought it might have been Swiss cheese because it has holes in it. But this is rock, and the holes are made by rocks hitting the moon and making holes in it. Okay, so it looks like Desmond was right. More facts. The moon is the only space body that orbits Earth. The moon orbits Earth every 27.3 days. On July 2nd, 1969, Neil Armstrong is the first human being to ever step foot on the moon. And this is the glossary. The glossary is an important part of a nonfiction text. It tells you words, important words that are in the text, and gives you their definitions. So a comet is a small space object made up of ice and dust. A crater is a large bowl-shaped hole on the surface of a planet or the moon, typically caused by the impact of a celestial body. Gravity, the force by which all objects in the universe are attracted to each other. Impact, the action of one object coming forcibly into contact with another. Orbit, the curved path of a planet, moon, or other object around a large celestial body. And this is the index. The index is another important feature of a nonfiction text because it tells you important words that are in the book and it tells you what pages they're on. And I can't believe Desmond was right. I must have been confusing the moon with the nacho machine at the AM/PM by my house because that is definitely made out of cheese. This has been a book called The Moon. And just so you know, Desmond was right. The moon is made out of rock, but nachos are made out of cheese.